Hello and welcome to my N-scale model railroad. So I've recently gotten back into model railroading after taking a break for a few years. I used to do HO scale in the past, but I don't have the space for HO, so I'm doing N-scale this time. And I threw together this table and I've been starting on a new layout. So let me go through it and show you what I have so far. So first of all, the table is 3 by 8 feet. It's constructed using 1x4s and 1x3 common boards, which I got from Home Depot. This is a 7/16 inch OSB plywood, and then there's a 1/2 inch piece of foam board on top. I'm using all Atlas Flex track and laying it on cork roadbed. The track plan is pretty simple. It's a double mainline loop. Essentially, it's straight in the back, curved on each end, and then here in the front it kind of continues and curves up and slowly curves back. So kind of like a gentle bean shape. There's going to be one crossover here. This track is not really supposed to be there, but there's going to be another one of these crossovers right here, and it's going to be a double main line. Over here we've got a diamond crossover. So I've got 2 of them already cut and in place for the outer main line. I've got 1 cut and ready for the inner main line, and I'm waiting for a 4th diamond to come in the mail to put there. This track here that comes this way is just going to be kind of a spur. It's going to go over here, connect together, and then connect to the inner main line right there. So this is to simulate a diamonds that are in my hometown of Marion, Ohio. I kind of wanted to use that as inspiration, so I wanted to get that nice sound of the train going over the diamond to hear that sound that it makes. This could provide potential future expansion if I ever have more room. I could build another table here and make an L shape and continue this off. But for now, it just dead ends right there into the edge of the table. At some point back here, I'll have the track disconnected so that the trains can't accidentally run off the end of the table. So I've completed the entire outer mainline loop and I have it up and running. I don't have a proper transformer yet, so I've kind of wired in this makeshift thing. I've got a 5-volt, 5-watt power supply from something, and then I just have it connected to this breadboard to a small potentiometer and a switch. So basically just runs the train at around 3 to 5 volts depending on the potentiometer, but it's enough to test the train, make sure the track is working, make sure the train doesn't derail anywhere. And so far I've been running it a lot with this Kato ES44AC locomotive and 8 coal hopper cars, and I've had no issues. The train runs perfectly fine over the entire loop, goes over the crossover there and over these diamonds down here. So you probably see these tunnel entrances that I've printed. I've 3D printed these with my printer down there. This is the final one. These other ones here were kind of just initial tests. I realized they were probably a little too short because eventually I do plan to have intermodal and auto racks and Amtrak Superliner cars, and I want to make sure that it's big enough that they can fit. So this is the final entrance to the tunnel over here. It's got some walls sticking out at 90 or 45 degrees. And you can kind of see I've drawn kind of where the hill is going to be that this is going to go into. It's kind of going to go up here and then kind of curve around here. And then the exit for the tunnel is over there. The main idea is that I want the train to be obscured by the tunnel so that you don't see it going around the curve so much, because the curves are kind of tight and they're not going to look super realistic with a larger rolling stock like a Amtrak Superliner or a auto rack. It also is going to divide up the layout a little bit so it doesn't look so boring as just a circle. So that's what's going on over there. I'll be making the mountains out of foam, same pink foam. Over here I've already started making some mountains. So there's kind of a canyon here that the train tracks go through. And then this, none of this is glued down to the table, but the mountains are glued together. So like this is one piece, it's all glued together already. I sanded it with a orbital sander, electric orbital sander. That seemed to do pretty well to get it pretty smoothed out. I'm gonna cover it all in some kind of plaster, but there's gonna be a road that goes up the mountain here. You can kind of see the lines I've drawn for it already. And then there's gonna be an overpass that goes over top of the tracks. There's gonna be a multi-use rail trail right here that it's also gonna go over. And this is gonna go into a tunnel, which is gonna be right there. There's a good shot of the train coming through the canyon. And this is, the layout's probably all gonna be covered in trees in areas like this. This is gonna be more of a wooded area, I think. I maybe might have something at the top, you know, but mostly gonna be wooded. There's gonna be one road, like I said, that comes down here, and there's gonna be a small town sort of in the center. There's gonna be a road that goes across the layout all the way from front to back. There'll be a 2-track crossing here and then a 4-track crossing back there. And then the other road at this intersection is gonna continue this way, gonna go over these 2 tracks, and then it's gonna go into the mountain, into a tunnel as well. There's gonna be a train station right here, modeled after the Marion Union Station in Marion, Ohio. There'll be like one of those control towers here. There'll be a little caboose. So this will be kind of the focal point where you'd want to be able to rail fan from. So that's pretty much all I've got so far. I think the next step is I'm going to slowly start buying some more track and finish up the inner mainline loop and then the spur. And then I'll probably continue on with the mountains, start making the initial mountains for that area, and then take it from there. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later.